Ben Goertzel here. I want to talk to you today about what I see as the next steps forward for SingularityNET. And I'm talking to everyone today, but I'm talking above all to the AGI token holders, to everyone who's had the interest in our project to buy our utility tokens. I mean, first of all, thanks for that. Really, thanks so much from all of us who've been working on SingularityNET. What I want to propose to you today is probably the biggest thing I've had to put out there since late 2017 when we announced the initial token generation event. I mean, we've learned a hell of a lot since 2017. We've also built a lot. We've built a lot of software. We've done a lot of AI R&D. Certainly, we're only partway there along the path we set out on. I mean, the path to build a democratic, decentralized platform suited for the emergence of beneficial general intelligence. I mean, we don't have the decentralized human-level AGI yet. We're not at the singularity yet. But, I mean, we've done a lot. We have the first version of a real working decentralized AI platform. You know, we have a lot of cool AI tools designed to work with it. We're in the middle of rebuilding the OpenCog AGI system into a new system called Hyperon, which is designed to be able to scale up hugely in coordination with SingularityNET. We're working with Hanson Robotics on a new robot called Grace, whose mind backends on SingularityNET platform and using OpenCog and Hyperon as well. And, you know, Grace will provide nursing assistance in hospitals and senior care facilities around the world. Also working with Hanson Robotics on Sophia DAO, which brings SingularityNET and OpenCog AI to all sorts of robots, even beyond the elder care space. You know, we're applying our AI to decentralized finance for altcoins with Singularity DAO. We're applying it to life extension medicine with Rejuve, to clinical trial analytics and virtual agents with Singularity Studio. There's a lot going on, and I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. But I'm also aware that, you know, the world of AI is moving incredibly fast. Our core competition are trillion-dollar big tech companies, and they're moving very fast in their own way, in their own direction. And if we're really going to achieve our grand goals, you know, we need to be doing even better. We need to be moving even faster. And so that brings us to what I want to propose to you today, which I'm calling SingularityNET Phase 2. I mean, this is a big initiative which is aimed at providing SingularityNET with the power it needs to move forward even faster and get to the next level and, you know, really achieve as soon as possible our goals of democratic, decentralized, beneficial AGI. SingularityNET Phase 2, you know, we can divide into 4 different pieces, and I'm going to go through them now one by one. So the first big part of SingularityNET Phase 2 is a shift from Ethereum platform to Cardano platform. Now, the good old AGI ERC20 token that we've all come to know so well and to love and to hate. I mean, this token isn't going away, but we're working with the IOHK, the company behind Cardano platform, to make a new AGI token running on Cardano platform. We're calling it AGI ADA. And, you know, when AGI ADA is launched, you'll be able to swap back and forth between the ERC20 AGI token and the ADA AGI token. I mean, the one ERC20 AGI token and one ADA AGI token will be worth exactly the same amount. You'll be able to exchange them one-to-one. But, you know, we're building a new version of SingularityNET Marketplace on top of ADA, on top of Cardano's network. And this is going to have a bunch of new features enabled by Cardano's Plutus smart contract language. I mean, new features that just wouldn't be as convenient to do on the Solidity smart contract language that Ethereum comes with. So, for example, we're working on an AI DSL, AI domain-specific language that lets the AI agents on the network sort of describe their properties to each other automatically without a human in the loop, which is really needed to enable multiple AI agents on the network to combine to form meta AIs, assembled of component AIs, which is, I mean, that's a key part of the original SingularityNET vision of making a decentralized democratic platform to catalyze the emergence of beneficial AGI. So, I mean, we're still pushing toward the same original vision. We've made a lot of progress so far. And I think by leveraging some of the unique technical capabilities in the Cardano platform, we can get there better and faster. The second part of the SingularityNET Phase 2 initiative is what I'm calling SingularityNET Layer 2, or SL2. So what SL2 is a bunch of software and tokenomic tools intended to support building secondary agent networks living on top of the base level SingularityNET network, which itself lives on top of blockchain networks like Cardano. So, I mean, some of these SL2 networks will have their own tokens separate from the AGI utility token. Some SL2 networks don't need their own token. We'll just use AGI token. They don't have their own tokenomic aspect. An SL2 network with its own token, that'll pay some small fee for transactions in AGI tokens. And it's sort of like how you pay gas for transactions on the Ethereum network, but I mean, way cheaper than current Ethereum gas fees, more like current transaction fees on the Cardano ADA network, which are a lot more reasonable. Some of the SingularityNET spin-off projects you've heard about before, like a Reju for life extension biology, NewNet for decentralized processing power, SingularityDAO for DeFi. I mean, these are going to use the SingularityNET Layer 2 infrastructure. These are SL2 projects. The Awakening.Health, Grace Nursing Assistant Robot, the Sophia DAO Benevolent AI Robotics Project. These are all going to be cast in technical form as SingularityNET Layer 2 networks living on top of the base SingularityNET network. But, I mean, these are just the beginning, the projects we've been incubating within SingularityNET. We want to see a whole lot of third-party SL2 projects come out, too. And, you know, as well as building the software here, we've been working on charting out, you know, the potential of these SL2 projects, their potential for driving utilization of the SingularityNET network. And, you know, if you just carry out the extrapolation rationally, if you start thinking about, like, how many AI API calls on SingularityNET network are these layer 2 networks going to drive? I mean, you come to the conclusion within 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to be looking at, you know, hundreds of billions of AI API calls in SingularityNET network per quarter, trillions of API calls per year at least. I mean, there's no guarantees about this sort of thing. The whole tech ecosystem is evolving in unpredictable ways, but just looking at the rational extrapolation of what's going to happen when you have all these robots out there and all these DeFi bots out there and all these apps out there back-ending on the SingularityNET platform. I mean, the natural extrapolation there is that we're going to see, you know, trillions and trillions of AI API calls. So, I mean, we're not backing off of working to pull individual AI developers to put their algorithms and their products on the SingularityNET platform. I mean, that has to happen. That will happen. But we're also envisioning the SingularityNET platform as a meta platform with these layer 2 networks on top of it. This can also be a very, very valuable way to drive growth. The aspects of SingularityNET Phase 2 that I've told you about so far are things that are almost definitely going to happen. Like, we're already working with IOHK and Cardano to create the AGI ADA token. We're already laying the software groundwork for SingularityNET Layer 2 networks. The next bit that I want to talk to you about is something that it's a big enough deal that we have to put it to a vote of the token holding community. And we've put a formal proposal out there. We're going to schedule a vote in about a week. And if 51% of voting tokens are in favor of the proposition, then it will happen. If not, then it won't happen, and we'll proceed with other aspects of SingularityNET Phase 2. Anyway, without further ado, I mean, after a lot of consideration and deep thought and discussion, you know, I've come to the conclusion that if we want to maximize the odds of really dramatic success of SingularityNET at achieving its ambitious goals, at creating democratic, decentralized AGI and having it become, you know, a dominant factor in the world economy and the evolution of the human species. If we really want to get there, the best course is to do another major treasury action. We had one major treasury action in late 2017, the initial SingularityNET AGI token generation event, where we minted 1 billion AGI tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. And what we want to do now is to mint 1 billion additional AGI tokens. These will be AGI ADA tokens. The billion AGI ADA tokens we propose to generate now are additional to the AGI ADA tokens that would be obtained by swapping existing AGI ERC20 tokens. So if you just allow people to swap their ERC20 AGI tokens for AGI ADA tokens, you can swap back and forth between the two at a 1-to-1 exchange rate, and the total supply of AGI tokens, Ethereum plus Cardano, will still equal 1 billion, right? That's what I proposed at the beginning of this little talk. Now, what I'm proposing now is a next step where we want to mint an additional 1 billion AGI ADA tokens beyond whatever AGI ADA were created by swapping AGI ERC20. And this additional billion AGI ADA tokens would not be released all at once. I mean, we don't want to flood the community with them. What we want to do is release this additional billion AGI ADA tokens in equal monthly tranches over a 5-year period. So some would be released each month for 5 years. And, you know, we've put a lot of thought into the best way to utilize these to maximize the rate of growth of the platform, maximize the utilization of the AGI token for all sorts of applications, and to maximize the odds that we can really achieve our goals of democratic, decentralized, beneficial AGI. So half of the AGI ADA tokens released each month will go to SingularityNET Foundation. Some will go into pools, say a staking pool, staking reward pool, a reputation reward pool. Some will go to current AGI token holders to reward you all for your loyalty. And 30% of the new AGI ADA tokens that would be released each month in this proposal, 30% of these would go into what we're calling the deep funding pool, which stands for Decentralized Ecosystem Project Pool. So in the deep funding pool, we would use Cardano's Catalyst platform to allow the community to propose projects building on SingularityNET and then vote on which ones get the tokens from that 30%. So we want to use 30% of the tokens for community proposed and then community democratically selected projects. And, you know, this ties in with the fourth bit of phase 2 that I want to talk about, which is a little less controversial, but really no less important, which is moving the dial significantly further toward decentralized governance. I mean, we knew when we started SingularityNET in 2017 that to achieve its goals, it had to end up eventually as a fully decentralized DAO. At the same time, it had to start with more centralized coordination, or just nothing was going to get built, nothing was going to happen. So we knew we had to take a progressive decentralization approach, and as part of the SingularityNET Phase 2 initiative, you know, we're progressing a bit along the progressive decentralization. So we've had something called the Supervisory Council for a while. It's 3 people currently elected by the token holders, with the idea that the Supervisory Council should play a sort of observation, review, and advisory role, sort of checking on what the foundation is doing for the token holders, and serving as the ombudsman and conduit between the token holding community and the SingularityNET Foundation. What we want to do now is beef up the role of the Supervisory Council considerably. So we want to start paying them a little bit for their role, and we want to give them some more oomph. So, you know, I've gone over 4 pieces of the Phase 2 proposal now. We've put online, around the same time as putting online this video, we've put online a detailed proposal for SingularityNET Phase 2, which goes over all the stuff I've been talking about in more depth. And we've also put online a detailed review of everything that's gone down during SingularityNET Phase 1, which includes an in-depth financial report covering the last 3 years and the fiat, Ethereum, Bitcoin, AGI token that the Foundation has had at its disposal and how it's been utilized to promote growth of the network. So getting back to the Supervisory Council and how we're aiming to beef that up, going forward into SingularityNET Phase 2, the SingularityNET Foundation will commit to, each year we'll release a detailed, in-depth financial and operational report. And one of the jobs of the beefed up Supervisory Council will be to review this report for the token holding community. Supervisory Council will also have the job of reviewing any executive level hires that the foundation makes. So I mean, this corporate governance stuff is not as exciting as building AGI and decentralized finance and longevity and all that. But I mean, I think it's important to get it right, and it's important as part of Phase 2 that we're taking this next step toward more and more decentralized governance in which the token holding community has more and more say. So I mean, with these changes to the Supervisory Council, plus the deep funding pool that would put 30% of the newly additionally issued AGI ADA tokens, into the democratic voting domain where their fate is decided by the community directly. I mean, the idea is to put more agency in the hands of the broader community, but I mean, without sacrificing the efficiency at getting things done that you have with a well-organized foundation. So I've raced through a whole lot of complex and involved stuff in this video message. I mean, if you're an AGI token holder or just generally interested, I'd encourage you to read through the documents that we've posted along with this video message, the document reviewing SingularityNET Phase 2 and all of our plans and proposals, and also reviewing Phase 1 and what we've done financially and operationally so far. Also, if you're a token holder, please review the proposal that we're putting out there, and we'll be asking you to vote on in about a week. I fully understand that the aspect of SingularityNET Phase 2 that involves, minting and releasing new tokens each month for a 5-year period, this is going to be a controversial thing to many of our token holders, right? And I mean, it's not what we thought we'd be doing in 2021, back in 2017 when we did the initial token generation event. I mean, we honestly thought that those were going to be the only AGI tokens. But I mean, there's a lot we didn't foresee. We didn't foresee the crypto winter. We didn't foresee the COVID-19 pandemic and all the impact that has had. I mean, shit happens in the world, and every startup project has had to adapt and pivot in various ways during its growth process. I mean, if you look at conventional software startups as an analogy, which is a very imperfect analogy, but I mean, if you look there, you see multiple rounds of funding are the norm, right? Now, I mean, decentralized projects are different. A utility token is its own sort of beast. I mean, the AGI utility token is intended, centrally and primarily to secure AI services on the platform. But even in spite of the huge differences between a conventional startup and a utility token project, I mean, a lot of the same dynamics still apply, which are what lead almost every startup to seek multiple funding rounds. Bottom line, we can look at two pathways here. I mean, we're doing SingularityNET Phase 2 anyway. We're proceeding with the project anyway. We're working toward beneficial, democratic, decentralized AGI. But in one path, we have full-on SingularityNET Phase 2 with new tokens released each month to incentivize development. In the other path, we proceed with SingularityNet Phase 2, but we don't have these new tokens to drive and incentivize development. And it's very, very clear to me that in the path where the monthly release of new tokens exists, the network grows far, far faster. The odds of really getting to trillions of AI API calls in a few years are much higher. And, the expected value of the network 5 years down the road, in the case where we issue the new tokens, the expected value in that case is way, way more than double the expected value in the case where the additional tokens are not issued. And I mean, that's really the reason why I think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm looking at, our competition out there are trillion-dollar companies and this whole centralized AI oligopoly. And if we really want to take them on, we need to be moving full speed ahead. We need to be doing everything we can do to push toward beneficial, decentralized, democratic AGI. And, SingularityNet Phase 2 in all its aspects, as I've described it for you, I mean, it's intended for that. It's intended for nothing other than moving toward the original goals of the product with the maximal speed and the maximal confidence. Anyway, I want to thank all of you who hold AGI tokens. I mean, I want to thank you for participating in the SingularityNet project through all its sometimes crazy ups and downs in these early stages. I mean, I really feel very humbled by all the support the community has shown. And, I'm humbly asking for your faith and your cooperation, as I work with my colleagues in SingularityNet Foundation and the broader community to set the stage for the next phase of growth of SingularityNet. I mean, honestly, personally, as a human being, I would have a much easier life and a lot more money if I went the centralized big tech route and decided, screw it, let's help some big tech company build this centralized AGI. You can be sure the offers have come my way. But I mean, I'm in this because I really want to see beneficial, democratic, decentralized AGI be the way that AGI is launched upon the world. I mean, I want to see that because it's best for the good of almost all the humans on the planet right now. And it's also the best way to launch the singularity that I really see humanity as moving toward. I mean, I'm in this to help the world and to increase the odds that the singularity goes well for all humanity. I know almost all of you who've bought AGI tokens are in it for the same reason. And, my judgment is that SingularityNet Phase 2, with all the aspects I've described, is really the best way to move forward toward these goals that have inspired all of us to get involved in the project. So, yeah, thanks for listening to this long message. Much love.